Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that honestly sounds like it's straight out of a science fiction blockbuster, but the wild part is it's happening right now, all around us. We are exploring the imminent, reality-altering merger of man and machine. So let's peel back the glossy PR and look at the actual facts, the tech, and the massive philosophies that are literally driving humanity into an entirely new era. So, what actually happens when humans gain the ability to redesign themselves? It's a massive existential puzzle, isn't it? We really need to shift our focus away from far-off sci-fi fantasies and look at our present-day reality. Because right now, humanity is standing at this threshold where biology and technology are permanently blurring together. And the implications? Well, they're going to reshape absolutely everything we know about our species. To understand where we're going, we really have to look at where we are right now. Let's go back to 2016. Nolan Arbo was tragically paralyzed from the shoulders down in an accident. Fast forward to January 2024. A surgical robot performs an operation to implant a coin-sized Neuralink chip directly into his skull, connecting 64 ultra-thin wires straight into his brain's neurons. And just weeks later, a video goes viral. Nolan is playing chess, not with his hands, but purely through his thoughts. It is a breathtaking, almost miraculous success for brain-computer interface technology. But what happens when the cameras stop rolling? Just 3 weeks after that miraculous video dropped, a quiet little blog post revealed a pretty shocking statistic. 85%. That is the percentage of those ultra-thin electrodes that unexpectedly retracted from Arba's brain tissue. It basically rendered a massive portion of the chip completely non-functional. Suddenly, that glossy success story revealed a much more fragile, highly experimental reality underneath. And the hidden cost of this rapid advancement? It actually goes even deeper. 1,500. According to federal investigations, that's the estimated number of animals, we're talking monkeys and pigs, that perished during the Rush Neuralink trials, before human testing even began. Company employees actually described a totally rushed environment, dealing with unapproved bioglues and recurring infections. And why the blind rush? Well, it was driven by this profound fear among tech leaders that humanity might fall behind in the global artificial intelligence race. Part 2, Hacking the Human Soul. To truly get a handle on this, we need to zoom out for a macro view. Why push through all these extreme obstacles? What are the actual massive motivations of the billionaires, the developers, and the military forces driving this forward? Because make no mistake, it is no longer just about medical rehabilitation for the disabled. The answer lies in a multi-million-dollar pursuit of radical biological longevity. Major tech leaders are openly treating death not as a natural end, but as a hackable disease. Take Deepinder Goyal, the CEO of Zomato, for example. He personally invested $25 million in brain tracking and longevity research. The ultimate goal for many in this elite circle is to pause or maybe completely stop human mortality. They literally want to physically and consciously live forever. And there's this profound philosophical shift happening right alongside the tech. At the 2020 World Economic Forum, historian Yuval Noah Harari made this chilling observation. He said by 2030, humans will be hackable. The concept of a soul is obsolete. That is a highly mechanical view of humanity, and it's rapidly taking hold among elite circles. We're increasingly being viewed as these highly complex computer systems that can just be decoded, upgraded, and reprogrammed. And hey, it's not just private billionaires either. An efficient 2019 U.S. military report boldly claims that their vision for the year 2030 includes brain upgrades becoming a standard, mandatory requirement for personnel. We are talking about the direct neural installation of combat skills. Imagine Matrix-style martial arts downloads going straight into the human mind. The military sees this as an absolute necessity to maintain future supremacy. Part 3, Transhumanism versus Posthumanism. To really grasp this rapid technological leap, we need to look at the formal philosophical frameworks that scholars are actually using to debate our future. The ideological foundation was laid way back in 1957, when evolutionary biologist Julian Huxley coined the term transhumanism. He wrote, "The human species can, if it wishes, transcend itself, in its entirety as humanity." The transhumanist philosophy is entirely focused on evolving beyond our biological limits using technology. It envisions a future where we eliminate genetic diseases, drastically increase our intelligence, and perhaps even upload our consciousness to digital realms to achieve immortality. But, as you might expect, there is a powerful counter-movement. While transhumanism is super utopian, pushing for aggressive enhancement and the transcendence of human nature, Posthumanism takes a much more critical, cautious stance. It really questions the dominance of technology. Posthumanism warns us about the erosion of our ecological interconnectedness and demands extreme ethical caution. It essentially asks, just because we can fundamentally alter human nature, does that actually mean it'll lead to a better, more just world? Part 4. From medicine to mandate. Okay, so let's bring these massive philosophical concepts down to earth and apply them directly to your everyday life. Specifically, how is this going to affect your future career and your place in society? The crucial thing to understand here is the historical slippery slope of technology adoption. It always follows a pattern. Step 1. It begins as a medical need, like a chip to help a paralyzed man communicate. Step 2. It transitions into mainstream convenience. Just think about how smartphones started as niche tools and became everyday conveniences. And finally, Step 3. Societal mandate. It becomes an unavoidable requirement that you literally cannot function without. In that transition to a mandate, that is terrifying. Consider this stark warning from a 2024 Harvard Business Review analysis. They actually project a workforce aggressively divided in two. On one side, you have the chipped or upgraded employees who can process information at literal computer speeds. On the other side, the unchipped, standard biological humans. This threatens a massive explosion of economic inequality. I mean, imagine a job market where a biological brain chip isn't a medical device anymore, but a required prerequisite just to survive and compete in your career. Part 5. The New Tower of Babel. To truly understand our high-tech anxieties today, we actually need to look backwards. We need to anchor these futuristic sci-fi concepts in ancient history and theology just to show that this human pursuit isn't entirely new. There's a direct, totally fascinating historical parallel here. Thousands of years ago, according to ancient texts, King Nimrod built the Tower of Babel in an act of ultimate hubris. He was seeking to conquer death and challenge heaven itself. Fast forward to today. We have tech billionaires building neural chips, attempting to hack death and achieve a godlike status of immortality. The tools have changed, from ancient bricks to silicon wires, sure, but the underlying arrogance and that refusal to accept our human limits, that remains exactly the same. Which naturally brings up a massive theological counter-argument. As noted by the American Scientific Affiliation, the goal of biological immortality is not in agreement with Christian belief. We live in relationship. Theological and philosophical perspectives argue that mortality and limitation are fundamental parts of the human experience. Radically extending our lifespan indefinitely, it conflicts with our created nature and our ecological and social interconnectedness. We just aren't designed to be immortal, isolated algorithms. Part 6. The Ultimate Human Choice. We've examined the miraculous medical breakthroughs, the hidden costs paid in testing, the economic threats to your career, and the philosophical battles between transcending our limits and respecting our nature. Our species is rapidly approaching an unprecedented crossroads. So, I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought. Will we upgrade into machines or remain purely human? When the day comes that a brain chip is offered to you, not just to cure an illness, but to keep your job, to stay economically relevant, and supposedly live forever, what will you choose? It's a decision that won't just define your life, but the very future of what it means to be human. Thank you for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the future we're building.